you're gonna break into. Up on you.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talking Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Cowjones. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you're listening. Hope you're doing all right. We got a busy show scheduled for you today and the rest of the week. But first, I got to tell you that the show is being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxuries Transportation Services. If you're looking for a limo and you're someplace in the United States, even Canada, and you want a really hot driver driving you around? Well, then you got to call Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. 202-351-7496 is how you get a hold of her. Tell her Billy C sent you. Just remember, she's my girl. 202-351-7496. The show is also being brought to you in part by my friends at the Kempener and Tomkovich Law Firm. That's right. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That is Kempener and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Let Kempener and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you, and I'm going to pick up the consultation fee. That's right. Show is also being brought to you in part by my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Check it out if you're living in the area, or if you go up to the beautiful Adirondacks for a vacation. Make sure one of your stops is the Halftime Bar and Grill. They got great people, great food, and drink specials all the time, and live entertainment Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's right. Give them a call, 518-792-4869. That's 518-792-4869. And don't forget, if you like hot wings, right, if you like that hot sauce on those hot wings, make sure you try the Billy C hot sauce. That's right. We got our own hot sauce over there, but you got to make sure Craig makes it. Request that Craig makes it. 518-792-4869. And the show is also being brought to you in part by the Whitehall Athletic Club. Check out that class act place, www.whitehallathleticclub.com. And speaking of Whitehall, we're going to be doing the show this weekend, so make sure you get tickets for that pro boxing event, World Championship boxing event. That's right. Victoria Cisneros is battling Chevelle Halbach for the vacant junior welterweight championship, the WIBA female junior welterweight championship. And by the way, Chevelle Halbach was just listed as, according to the Ring magazine, in their August issue in the junior welterweight division, the top female fighter in the 140-pound class in the world today. Number one, Chevelle Halbach. Get your tickets now, www.whitehallathleticclub.com, or you can call 518-832-3663. That's 518-832-3663. And also, if you're a boxer or a trainer or a rah-rah man in the corner, I don't know, don't forget about Ringside, because this show is being brought to you by Ringside, the best in boxing. Check them out at www.ringside.com for all your boxing equipment needs. And make sure you mention Billy C, because they got the special this week on the Heritage line. It's a new line, gloves and mitts and speed bag and protective gear. Check it out, www.ringside.com. We got some fight results to talk about. Got some boxing news. We got some stuff going on, like later in the week. We got the Blast from the Past, which, you know what? I don't even know who we're doing it on yet. Didn't print that report out. We do know one thing. We got Tyson Fury scheduled to come on tomorrow's show. That's right. So if you want to see what the big 6'9" Brit has got to say, make sure you swing by tomorrow, because he'll be on the show then. We're going to do our mailbag. That's right. Read the emails out of the mailbag right now. This email's from my man Alex T. And oh, by the way, we're going to be going through the fights this week. Who won, who lost. Our Billy C boxing rankings will be updated, so look for those sometime tomorrow up on the website. And don't forget, we started the Billy C Challenge. We uncovered an error in the code that they're working on right now. In the meantime, you had to have emailed me your picks. And currently, we got a couple people 100%. That means perfect. And I'm proud to say that I'm one of them. That's correct. Billy C, 100%. And there's a guy that joins me. That's right. My man Ryan. My man Ryan is also 100%, 5 for 5 going into this week. So if you want to shut us up, get involved with the challenge. It doesn't matter when you join. After you put a couple of weeks in, you're eligible to win all the prizes. So make sure you sign up today. The best way to do it is email me, Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and we will announce a winner for August. So you got another 2 weeks, right? This weekend and next weekend, and then we'll crown a winner. So I'm not going to mention that Dave Murphy is not among the top. So anyway, Alex T. He sent me an email. He says, hey, Billy C., what's up? Have you heard anything about this statue of Rocky Marciano that the WBC is building down in Mexico and then putting up in Brockton? That's in Massachusetts, where Rocky was from. He says, the whole thing is a joke. First of all, the statue looks absolutely nothing like Marciano. I'm not kidding, man. It's an insult. I sent you a picture of the statue, which he did. I'll get to it in a second. He says the face looks more like Ricky Hatton than Marciano. He says also the statue is made of plastic, so it would last a good 10 years or so. Apparently, I'm not the only one who feels it looks nothing like Rocky. Jose Suleiman addressed this in the link that he sends below. There's an article that I printed out. I'm going to read some stuff. He says, Jose Suleiman addressed it. He says he actually had the nerve to say that the sculptures didn't have a clear picture of Rocky, and that's why it doesn't look like him. I don't even know what to say to that. How stupid can they possibly be? He says, now, if there's any upside to this story, he read that Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment Sports wants to put on a big fight card the night that they unveil this statue. It happens to be at a baseball stadium across the street. He says he's trying to get, Birchfield says he's trying to get HBO or Showtime involved, but according to Alex T, he says, frankly, I don't think that this is the kind of guy that has the money to put on a card like that. And if he does have it, I'm not even sure he would spend it. I think that's more like it. Hey, man, credit to you for keeping the show entertaining when there's not a whole lot of fight stuff going on right now. Yeah, we try, man. We try. It is tough, but thanks to emails like this, it gives us something to talk about. I mean, statues generally don't look identical to who they're supposed to be portraying, but I will say this. It's supposed to have what they call a likeness to the person. I agree with Alex T. He did send me a photo of this, and it looks nothing. I mean, the hair and everything. I mean, it just looks nothing like Rocky. Maybe the physique could look like Rocky. I'm a little curious to know what type of plastic. It doesn't really explain in the article the link that Alex sent to me. I know that it's 20 foot tall. They are going to unveil it, I guess, tomorrow in Mexico City. Then they're going to take the statue apart, which disassembles into not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6 pieces, and truck it over to Brockton, Massachusetts. According to Jose Suleiman, he says that he's happy with the statue. He says he praised the sculptures and their staff for their hard work. He says, and I quote, "I saw the excitement, the commitment, and dedication of the artist and all the people working with them." Apparently this statue project is running late, like 6 weeks behind schedule. But Suleiman still says that they had to work hard on this project. And he also went on to say, Suleiman said that the sculptors worked hard to capture the Brockton blockbuster's face. Early pictures of the statue showed a face that did not closely resemble the undefeated champion. Suleiman said that the sculptors struggled with Marziano's eyes and did not have a clear photograph of the champion. He says they did their best, and I believe that the statue looks very much like him. If you're doing a statue about my man that I wrote my book on, Tom Molyneux, you could get away with saying you didn't have any good pictures. Even Jack Dempsey, you could get away. I mean, yes, he was very, in front of the cameras and stuff, but, in his era, you might not have had clear pictures. But let me tell you something. Rocky Marciano's era, there were plenty of clear pictures of Rocky Marciano. I mean, all stages of his career. So that's just a crock of you-know-what. He says, Jose Suleiman, again, trying to get getting all the credit here. He says, some of the very important fighters do not live around the area, and some of them will not be able to be here. He's talking about the unveiling. He says, basically, he's looking forward to honoring Rocky Marciano's legacy with this statue, and others down the road. He says the WBC wants to pay the past of boxing for their contributions to this sport. So, once again, trying to steal the limelight. Good deed, though. I'm glad that they did something for Rocky, and I'm a little surprised that he doesn't have a statue up already. But anyway, we got to take a break, and when we come back, we'll finish reading up the mailbag. We'll read the emails from the mailbag. Why is that so hard for me?
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, All the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the ideal computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. Hey, speaking of Billy C show, check out the other shows on the BillyCBoxing.com network. That's right, man. If you didn't know it, you know, we got several other shows, and we're going to be taking on a few more in the very near future. Keep your ears peeled. Or no, wait, that's your eyes. Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. What was this saying, man? Keep your eyes peeled and keep your ears. What? Keep your ears. Take them potatoes out of your ears, but keep your eyes open and make sure you check out some new shows. We're going to be talking about joining the family. So we're moving in the right direction. That's for sure. We got a couple of more shows that we're adding, and we're excited about that. So make sure you check out the website www.BillyCBoxing.com under radio shows. That's right. There's a section that says radio shows. So check it out. And while you're at it, visit the links, man. Everybody on the links is people that we support. So support our links pages, man. But anyway, Alex T also he's got another email here. First and foremost, he wants to give me his all-time great top 10 middleweights. And if you haven't sent me yours yet, and you want them read on the air, do it. Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and send me your all-time great top middleweights. Now, Biggerback got us going on this because he put Bernard Hopkins in the top 10. So far, everyone has Bernard Hopkins in the all-time great top 10 list of middleweights. I'm shocked. But Alex T, his are this. His are like this. Sugar Ray Robinson, number 1. Carlos Monzon, number 2. Harry Greb, number 3. Stanley Ketchel, number 4. Mickey Walker, number 5. Marvelous Marvin, number 6. You know, they're from the same town, of course. Gene Fullman, number 7. Tony Zale. You know, some of you forgot about Tony Zale. He's number 8. Charlie Burley, I'm glad he's in there. I think everybody's putting him in there for me. Number 9, and he's got B-Hop at number 10. So, yes, even Alex T has Bernard Hopkins in the top 10 of his all-time great middleweight list. So thank you for that. He says, this is a tough list to make. If you switch Monzon and Robinson around, I wouldn't have any issue with it. He's got them at number 1 and number 2, respectively. He says, the reason I would give the nod to Robinson is because he beat perhaps more of the great middleweights than anyone else did, but he also lost a lot to those guys too. Yeah, he did. But this was a guy that was already way past his prime by the time he was fighting in the middleweight division. His greatest fights were at welterweight, actually. He says, someone mentioned Roy Jones. He says, I honestly took a prime Roy Jones Jr. at 160. I honestly think a prime Roy Jones Jr. at 160 could have beaten half the guys on my list, but he only had a couple of fights at this weight, and I can't include him on this list simply for that reason alone. Good point. Some people did say Roy Jones Jr. should be on that list. He says, there's several great fighters. I feel bad leaving them off my list, like LaMotta, Serdan, Ben Venuti, Dick Tiger. 4 guys I would pick to beat Bernard right there. But I put Bernard on there for the length of time of his reign, but I don't feel good about it. You see, that's been my whole argument with Bernard. And I think a lot of people put him, and this is just my opinion, a lot of people put him in their all-time great because of his longevity. And, to me, where does that play? I mean, where does longevity fit when you're thinking of an all-time great fighter? I mean, just because he was around a long time and he hung in there, I don't know. He's not in my top 10. I haven't given you guys my top 10, but I'm telling you right now, he's not in my top 10. He's in my top 25, but not my top 10. There's too many fighters that would beat the snot out of Bernard Hopkins. Not today's fighters. I'm talking about yesteryear. Mike McCallum is as good as any fighter has ever been between 154 and 60, but he couldn't get his fights with Hagler or Hearns. If you believe the stories, McCallum had his way with Tommy Hearns more than once back in the 80s, which is why he left or was told to leave the Kronk gym. James Toney doesn't get on my list. This is Alex T. on my list because of the Dave Tiberi fight. Ironically, Michael Nunn might be on the list if it wasn't for James Toney. Julian Jackson didn't get on the list because of Gerald McClendon, and Gerald may have been one of the all-time greats if he stayed in the division and didn't go to 168 and travel to England. As far as Hopkins, he had a lot of big names on his resume, but he fought all these guys later in his reign. Exactly, that's been my point. Why didn't he fight Julian Jackson, Gerald McClendon, Mike McCallum, James Toney, etc., early on? He says, Alex T. says, I'll go on record as saying that if Hopkins had fought Gerald McClendon in the early 90s, he'd be a footnote in history right now. Bernard didn't have the defense he has now in the early 1990s. Hell, he got dropped twice by Segundo Mercado. McClendon would have knocked him out, there's no doubt in my mind. I would ask you to tell all of your younger listeners to look at McClendon's first fight against Julian Jackson. He was really something special. Nobody today even compares. I just thought to myself, imagine if Chavez Jr. had to fight McClendon, and laughed out loud at my desk at work. He says, have a good weekend. This came in on Friday. Thank you, Alex T. And I think you guys should take his advice. Go watch the fight number 1, Gerald McClendon against Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson was a tough fighter in his own right. Had a suspect chin, and there was a lot of guys in that era. I mean, remember James Kitchen was another one. But a nice list and a nice explanation of why he's got it the way he does, and why and who was left off for that reason. So, Big Knuckle 1 says, hey, for your next prize giveaway, you should give some of those Mayweather pajamas for your many Mayweather fanatics. We should design a pair of Floyd Mayweather Feety pajamas and send them to at least Given Quality, right? I mean, he deserves a pair. If there's any of you out there that designs pajamas with Feeties in them, and we could make some Floyd Mayweather pajamas, drop me an email, Billy@talkinboxing, TALKINBOXING.com. Jeremy, the producer of the show here, wants a product line to sell. He says, we got to get a product line to sell. I'm voting for Scotch. He said, no, that's not a good idea for you. But maybe Floyd Mayweather jammies. Maybe Floyd Mayweather Feety pajamas, So let us know what you think. Great email from Big Knuckle. I appreciate that. I like that. I like humor. Humor, man. Makes the world go round. How about this weather? I don't know about where you are, but I'm in upstate New York. I'm freezing today. You know, you go from the way the weather is nowadays, and Alex, Papali's always telling me about global warming and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I got news for you. This summer has been one of the hardest for me to endure that I can remember in terms of the humidity. I mean, just sitting around and just sweating and just feeling terrible. Like I don't want to do anything. And it goes from that to literally it's in the 40s here in upstate New York right now. In the 40s. It was in the 80s and the 90s 2 days ago. Now it's in the 40s this morning. Now it's going to get up to the 80s today. But it's that time of year. The end of August, starting to get into football season, the beginning of September. And, it starts to get a little chilly. It gets a little chilly around here. But anyway, man, can't take it. You want to get sick, Hawk says B-Hop was boring. That's it, Hawk. That's all I need to read because I love the email already. He says he was boring and a dirty boxer. And with all the PED talk, I suspect he was his dirty fighting but... what does it say? And with all the PED talk, I suspect his dirty fighting, but to have been taking PEDs. Why? I never would have thought. You know what? That's one thing. Listen, I can't stand Bernard Hopkins, but I would never accuse him of taking performance-enhancing drugs. He's too adamant about how clean he is about what he puts into his body and stuff. I mean, if we ever found out that he did that. Man, that would ruin it for him. I think even guys like Biggerback would not like him. But hey, hold that thought. I'm going to read the rest of that email coming up in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio. He would scoff at the stretch of that man out of town.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C, the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me?
Yeah,
What?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy,
What?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you
wrong
to
speech.
leave.
What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on tpsradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty tpsradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. And you're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. You don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup. Well, then you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. That's right. Pick up the phone and call them. If you call them, you're going to get it. So you got, if you want to watch it, man, that's what you got to do. For all the information about Fight Now, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. Don't forget about our big post-fight shows we're going to be doing exclusively on Fight Now. First and foremost, September 8th, we're going to be doing a post-fight show immediately following Andre Ward Chad Dawson, which is taking place in California. We're going to be doing that one right here, out of the Billy C studio in New York. Then, the following week, we're going to be doing the post-fight show after not one but two fights that are going to be a couple of miles from each other on the Las Vegas Strip. First, the pay-per-view, the big fight between middleweights, Sergio Martinez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And then down the street, we got Osito Lopez moving up a few weight classes, literally, to fight Saul Alvarez. So we're going to be doing a post-fight show right here on Fight Now. My man Hanging Fires is in the chat room. It's a little slow in there today. But, I know he's from the Arizona area. I think he is. It reminds me of a show I was watching yesterday. I was watching Survivor, right? Wait, no, not Survivor. Like Man vs. Wild. That's what it is. I like those Survivor shows, because I've always said I can see you give me a pocket knife and I can survive anywhere, And I'm watching Bear Giles, whatever the hell his name is, Bear Bryant. I don't know, Bear, Bear, and. Yeah, he's in Arizona. They drop him off in Arizona. And, the first thing he does is he jumps out of a plane. And he's showing you that he's testing this new suit that kind of, has this fabric in between the arms and the legs so you can fly before you pull your parachute. So you can fly around like a bird and then pull your parachute before you crash into the ground, This guy's totally nuts. So he jumps out of a plane. He guides himself over to the Arizona desert, lands in the desert, and he's showing you how to survive in the Arizona desert, eating scorpions and crawling into these crevices, digging for water. Who the hell would live in Arizona? Jeez, I don't know. But anyway, Hang of Fire just reminded me of it. But we're on the last couple of emails out of that mailbag. And Hawk says B-Hop was boring. He was boring and a dirty fighter. He says, with all the PED talk, I suspect that dirty fighting B-Hop was taken or is taking PEDs. People think Pacquiao was on PEDs at 30, but B-Hop was clean at 45. He says, I think a 45-year-old champ needs PEDs more than a 30-year-old boxer. He says, and B-Hop bragged about his dirty tactics. He also goes on to say B-Hop was one hell of an actor in the ring. I call him Flopkins. I think Jones and Hopkins were both scared of each other. Lennox Lewis had a suspect chin, but he was good. Now, Hawk covered everything that we talked about on Friday. He also goes on and say, as I give Lennox Lewis props, I also have to give the Klitschko brothers props. They have cleaned out the heavyweight division for about a decade. Even Lennox Lewis decided to retire after he fought Vitali, and the Klitschko brothers have whooped smaller, faster heavyweights and all the big heavyweights in the game. Thanks for the email, Hawk. I do agree that we need to give the Klitschko brothers credit. They have fought everyone and anyone in the division during their era. We can't expect fighters to do more. We can't put a value on a fighter in terms of quality based on what we believe, which is all subjective, which we believe is a weak division or a weak era. Therefore, guys like you mentioned, Lennox Lewis gets credit for being a quality heavyweight, even though I never liked him. But he did fight everyone of his era. He did seemingly leave, but I also give him a lot of credit for leaving at the right time. Our last remembrance of him was as a champion. That's very powerful in this business. We're not going to remember that with Roy. We're not going to remember that with Bernard. These guys that have hung around a little too long, we're going to remember the decline. So now, as far as performance-enhancing drugs with Bernard Hopkins, I totally disagree with you on that. And as much as I can't stand Bernard Hopkins, I don't think that he ever took performance-enhancing drugs. I think it's indicative. If you look at his fights, especially lately, he never could go to full 12. He did fight like an old, aging fighter. That's why he tried to, conserve his energy. That's why he was so boring. That's why he tried to, get people into those rounds. He took rounds off, clearly, to conserve his energy. But performance-enhancing drugs, no, I disagree with you there, my man. And finally, my man Frog from over on the other side of the pond says, hey, Billy C., I just watched the Brewer fight from Georgia. You guys did a great job doing the commentary. Pity about your suit. You look like you were one of the Godfathers. Hey, what can I tell you? He says, it seemed like a very small crowd. I had more at my first amateur fight, but you were asking, does anyone think that he's referring? First, he made fun of our show, which it wasn't really our show, but we did the broadcast, and the crowd wasn't that bad. Let me tell you, it's 3 times more than I thought they were going to draw, since there was no promotion on it at all. He says, you were asking if I thought that if anybody could beat the Klitschko's, if they could be beaten in the ring. He says, I think it would be very hard for any heavyweight to beat Vlad on points, but who knows? The next Corey Sanders could just be around the corner. Vitali is finished, but the division is so weak, he's still a champion. I don't like David Hay, but I think he beats Vitality. Which I think he's got a better chance at Vitality than Vlad, to be honest with you. He says, what a joke that Rahman is fighting Alexander Povetkin. I think even Kubot Pulov beats Povetkin, and if I were him, I'd be ashamed to call myself a world champion while the Klitschkos are around. Also, congratulations to the Irish Olympic... You knew this was coming. To the Irish Olympic boxing team, who took home 4 medals from their 6 boxers. I was sorry to hear about Kenny Norton, his health. It would be a really great heavyweight spotlight or blast from the past to do one on that warrior. Sounds good. Maybe we'll check it out. But thanks for the email. Everyone, thanks for all the emails. They were great as usual. And Hanging Fire, who's in the chat room right now, he asks, concerning Bernard Hopkins and steroid use, was he ever tested? Good question. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, he just doesn't look that great. What prompts somebody to test you? Unless you're asking for it, it's not the norm right now. Not every commission requires it. So I don't know if he was or if he wasn't. Fight results. Like I said, the Billy C Challenge, if you're interested in getting back into that, and a lot of you were part of it, email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. The automated system is got a bug or 2 in it, so we're fixing that. But for now, we already kicked them off, so make sure you email me if you're involved. If you want to be involved, then I'll make sure you get the list. Now, this first week, we had 5 plays, and yours truly went 100%, of course, 5-0. And I got one guy that's up at the top with me right now with 100% accurate to kick off August, and that's my man Ryan. So congratulations to him. Too bad for the rest of you losers that are behind us. So, on Saturday we had a Mexican IBF super featherweight champ, Juan Carlos Salgado, improved to 26 wins, a loss, and a draw when he retained his IBF belt with a unanimous decision over former champion Jonathan Barrios, who dropped to 34 wins, 3 losses, and a draw. The way the judges scored it were all the same. All three had it 116, 111. So, my man Cesar Hernandez, we were just talking about him. What does he listen to the show when we mention his name? He pops in or what, man? But he's wants to tell everybody good morning. Good morning to you, Cesar. And we just got a compliment on the job we did in Georgia. And I got some more Georgia boxing news coming up in a little bit. Some interesting stuff going on with the commissioner that I love. I love boxing commissions that basically do a couple of things. They support the sport of boxing, and they promote the sport of boxing in their state. I also support commissions that try to help the fighters, land and get on cards, and don't look for ways of squashing it right away. And I like commissions that treat promoters and managers and fighters and everyone involved with respect. That is the Georgia Boxing Commission. That's one of them. There are a lot of them that do that, but I know one that doesn't, and I won't mention any names, but it's in New York. So they do not treat people with respect. They are bullies. That's their attitude. They're bullies. They do not promote the sport of boxing. They want it. They don't even want it in this state, And all there are in that place right now is a bunch of power-hungry punks running the New York State Athletic Commission, and something has to be done because eventually no one's going to want to even do fights in the state of New York. I know I won't. I know I won't ever do another fight in the state of New York. I did it before, and I'll never do it. I'll never do it. They are just, terrible. Anyway, Juan Carlos Salgado retained his belt. 116, 111 is the way all three judges scored it. On the co-main event, there was a couple other decent fights. Rene Gonzalez improved to 31-5 with 23 knockouts when he won a split decision over Ricardo Alvarez out of Mexico, who drops to 18-2. The way the judges scored it, it only went to 11 rounds because of a cut, but the way the judges scored it was two judges had it 106. One judge had it 106, 105, and 107, 104 for Gonzalez, while the third scored it 109, 105 for Alvarez. Man, what was that, his cousin? Also Saturday night, Colombian punching power machine, they call him now. Brenis Prescott, he won a fight against my man Gato Figueroa. Prescott improves to 26 wins, 4 losses, 18 come by knockout. And, Francisco Figueroa, more commonly known as Gato, he drops to 20 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. It was a unanimous decision, even though Figueroa was down not once but twice in the first round. But the way the judges scored it was 79-71, 77-73, 78-71, all in favor of Prescott. Also on that card was Uninsky Gonzalez, who's a light heavyweight. I've heard a lot of things about this Cuban undefeated guy. He stayed undefeated on Saturday night when he beat Jermaine Mackey, who had way more fights than him, for 10 rounds. All three judges scored 100-89 for Gonzalez. Mackey drops to 18 wins, 6 losses, 14 come by knockout. And like I said before, Gonzalez improved to 9-0 with 5 knockouts. And also in the super featherweight division, Rance's kid Blas Barthélemy keeps his undefeated record intact. He's now 17-0 with 11 knockouts when he beat Alejandro Rodriguez over 8 rounds. Rodriguez drops to 14-7 with 7 knockouts, and 3 judges scored it the same, 80-71, giving all 8 rounds to Barthélemy. The guy I'm not too crazy about. He's still fighting. He did some this and did some of that, and some time too. Former champion Paul Spadafora, he remains unbeaten. He improved to 46-0 with a draw. 19 of his wins coming by knockout when he won an 8-round decision over Humberto Toledo, who dropped to 41 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws, with 25 of his wins coming by knockout. The way the judges scored it, 80-72 twice and 79-73, all in favor of Paul Spadafora. Also on that card, we had the return of Brian Minto. These guys. Brian Minto won. He improved to 37 wins, 5 losses, 24 come by knockout. When he stopped Mike Shepard in the 4th round, Shepard drops to 20 wins, 14 losses, and a draw, with 9 of his wins coming by knockout. The one thing I'll say about this, and the official time was 2 minutes and 22 seconds of the 4th round, the fans loved this fight. And most of the time they loved the Brian Minto fights. I mean, he's a Vinny Matalone kind of a guy. They both come at you, they wail away. It's like watching a bar fight. You sit there, you have a beer, you watch these two guys beat the snot out of each other, and then at the end, one guy's the greatest and the other one is not. That's what they think. I don't know. But Lisa Bad News Brown got some bad news on Saturday night because Jackie Nava beat her senseless, stopping her at 1 minute and 46 seconds of round number 3 to successfully defend her WBA Super Bantamweight title. Lisa Bad News Brown drops to 19 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws. Took place in Mexico. Aztec Princess Nava, Jackie Nava, we call her the Aztec Princess, improved to 28 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws, and looked pretty damn good doing it. There was an accidental headbutt in the fight between Ruben Tamayo and Raul Morales, and the fight, as a result, it had been scheduled for an 8-rounder in the Super Bantamweight division, and this fight was ruled a draw after they stopped it. So it must have. I don't have the official wording, but it must have went into the 4th round to be called a technical draw. Otherwise, it would be a no contest. But anyway, Rodrigo Guerrero, was a guy that hit the canvas not once, not twice, but a couple of times, a couple of more times, in his fight with a journeyman from Mexico, Jonathan Licona. But it didn't matter because Licona kept up throwing some punches to the former champion all night long, and Rodrigo Guerrero ended up not coming out for the 6th round to drop to 17 wins, 4 losses, and a draw with 11 knockouts. And Jonathan Licona, he improved to 15-12, so a good one there. I told you guys that Frezuquendo was back in action, and he fought Robert Hawkins, which I didn't think was going to be a bad fight. But then again, it was a last-minute sub. How good a shape could Hawkins been in? Apparently not very good. And what ended up happening was Frezuquendo stopped him in the 7th round with a technical knockout. Frezuquendo improves to 35 wins, 7 losses, 23 of his knockouts, 23 of his wins come by knockout. And Robert Hawkins drops to 23 wins and 20 losses with 7 knockouts. The kid out of Philly. When they interviewed Frezuquendo afterwards, he says, I needed to get some extra rounds. My goal was to get to the body and outclass him with my skill. if and it worked. If I want anybody to fight me, he says he's calling anybody out. He wants the top 15. Bring it on. He said immediately after. Here's the thing. I hate when fighters say, "Oh yeah, I hung around. I needed the rounds. You know what you do? Don't look for rounds. Get the rounds in gym. Get the rounds in sparring. Don't get the rounds in a fight. You go into the fight. You end matters. You carry your game plan. Just ask the guy who fought. What was his name? Who fought the kid that's got a shot at Bute now, Grachov. Who fought him? I forget. Ismail. Wasn't it Ismail Sika? Salika? Yeah, that's it. Salika, thanks. Here's a guy that was outboxing him, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, I need to get some more rounds." Next thing you know, he's sleeping. You finish it off. But speaking of finishing off, the WBA's interim junior flyweight champion, Alberto Rosell, he retained his interim belt. Yes, it was on the line. 12-round unanimous decision over Carlos Diaz, who drops to 17 wins, 4 losses, with 13 of his wins coming by knockout. 117 to 115. I'm sorry. The scores were, since when do we use half points for scores? Is this something new? Did I miss this? Because the judges scored this fight. Maybe the WBA is different. In Peru, the judges scored this fight 117.5 to 111.5, 117.5 to 113.5, and 117 to 111.5. When did that happen? When did the WBA institute a half-point system? What's up with that, man? What's up? The WBA has a half-point format for any regional titles. Well, this was a world title. This was for an interim junior flyweight belt, a WBA world title. So I don't know, man. He says also, that was Caesar filling me in, telling me I'm a dummy. Of course, everyone knows that. I don't know. Also, David Zagara improved to 20-0 when he won a unanimous decision over Emilio Julio. What, did they only fight in 11 rounds, too? It was the second fight that had 11 rounds as well, over Emilio Julio, who dropped to 24 wins, 9 losses, and 2 draws. Yes, he says. That's it. WBA's back down at the bottom. Yeah, I did read that they had the 11-rounder. But the half-point system, too, huh? But, yeah, the regional titles are 11 or 9 rounds. I guess that's their theory of not having any draws. But then doesn't that defeat the purpose if you're using a half-point system? I don't know. Let's move on. Friday night fights. Donovan "Da Bomb" George knocks out Dionzio Miranda. Kind of. Miranda, that was a fight that Miranda started off pretty well. I think he even won the first round. He was jabbing and everything else. Then George was landing him with some hard shots. And finally, Miranda made a charge at the end there. After the 5th round. And then, or it might have been the 6th. I forget how they're scoring it here. It was after 6. It was in the 6th round. Miranda came on and was really trying his hardest, and Donovan George was nailing some great counter shots and everything else. And in between rounds, Miranda said no mas to his corner and did not come out for round 7, giving Da Bomb win. 23 wins now, 2 losses and 1 draw, with 20 of his wins come by knockout for Da Bomb. And Miranda drops to 21 wins, 8 losses, and 2 draws with 18 knockouts. Now just remember, Dionzio Miranda was somewhat of a last-minute sub. I think he's came in less than 2 weeks ago. So, and in the main event, now originally Da Bomb was supposed to be the main event, but in the main event, Carlos Molina improved to 20 wins, 5 losses with only 6 knockouts when he won a unanimous decision over Damian Freitas, who drops to 19 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. All 3 judges scored it the same, 100-90. And finally, my last Friday night fight, well, actually, I got a couple more, from the land down under, Daniel Dawson improved to 38 wins, 3 losses, and a draw, with 25 of his wins coming by knockout when he defeated Marco Tunamari, who dropped to 9 wins, 10 losses, and a draw. That was the main event. And Dawson, by the way, thinks that by beating this guy, he's back on the world stage and has challenged Austin Trout, which I think is kind of funny. Also in the welterweight division, the WBF continues putting themselves on the map as a sanctioning body. They put 2 distant fighters against each other: Jose Piston Lopez against Jose Emilio Pereira. Pereira is 21-1 going into this fight, and 13 knockouts. And Piston Lopez is 16-2-1. But at the end of the night, it was kind of a close fight. The way the scores had it the way the judges scored it was 118-110, 116-112, and one had it even at 114-114, all in favor of Piston Lopez, who improves now to 17-2 with a draw. And Pera drops for only the second time in his career. He's now 21-2 with 13 knockouts. The co-main event was Giovanni Russo-Carrel. Scored a 4th-round stoppage over Mario Macias, who drops to 24-9. And that takes care of that. Up in the North Country, we had Nicholson Poulard. He improved to 19-3 when he stopped the former light heavyweight champ in the NABA in 1 minute and 24 seconds of the 4th rounds. That was Antoine Sajonkin, who drops to 13-7. After the fight, Poulard, who is the half-brother of Jean Pascal, says that they're in negotiations and have been offered to fight Carl Froch in January. So we'll have to wait and see. That wraps up our fight results from Friday and Saturday. I hope you could enjoy watching some of the fights. If not, and you're looking for just the scores or you know how the fight went down, drop me an email, Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and I'll hook you up with that info. I got some boxing news coming up. I got that stuff I was telling you about with the Georgia State Athletic Commission. I got some crazy talk from a couple of crazy old fighters that won't give it up. All that coming up in 2.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
It's Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh? What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C. sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. show. He's Billy C., and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C. first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider right now and tell them you want Fight Now right now. That's right. There's a lot of nows in there. Just remember one, Fight Now. Visit their website for all the latest information. Plus, don't forget about every night being Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern, so you can check out the website for the latest information on who's going to be on tonight at 10 p.m. www.fightnow.com. But anyway, yes, we are going to have formal announcement on that issue, my man Caesar. And we're talking about the upcoming shows. We're adding a few more to the family. And we'll be telling you about each one of those as they come on board, and how you can listen to them and watch them and all that happy stuff. A lot of stuff going on with the network, and it's all starting to come out. As a matter of fact, check out the Florida Boxing Report with our very own Gorgeous. She's a hottie, man. God, I got to work with her once, and I'd like to work with her again, I'll tell you that. But Sony Thompson. She's going to be covering the Florida boxing scene for us, as well as other sports. So that's what I'm saying. The whole BillyCBoxing network is expanding big time. And check out her column. I was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the other day, and she's got the Florida updated boxing report and what's going on. So check that out. You'll see it. She's got her own column. And speaking of checking stuff out, we got a new writer on board. As well as, in addition to Sony, and his new piece is up on the website. Check it out. We're hoping that Sivak, I'm sorry, it's pronounced Sivak. He just wrote an article about the Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez fight. That's up on BillyCBoxing.com right now. So check that one out. Because I think you may like it, you may agree or disagree, and hey, give us your thoughts, what you think. Anyway, here's what I think about the Georgia State Athletic Commission. I think class acts, man, class acts. Now, I was there at this weigh-in that I would have personally pulled the plug on this whole event. I mean, what this guy endured, and I'm talking about this guy. His name is Andy Foster. Now, he's the executive director of the Georgia State Athletic Commission, and this man really put boxing first. And not that I'm a big fan of Georgia, and Caesar will be the first to back me up on this. I couldn't get the hell out of that state quick enough. But when it comes to boxing, I'm really starting to take notice of these commissions and how they operate. Now, some are so lax that it's a danger for the fighters and people involved. But then you have the other side of the coin where, they're power-hungry bullies and, like New York, and they're really not knowledgeable about the sport. Like New York, they may know, the paperwork, bury you in paperwork mentality, but they don't really know the sport. I bet you out of the whole staff, less than half are actually boxing knowledgeable, And, they just treat people with no respect. And their main goal in life is to try not to have fights. And by the way, if you live in New York, you're paying six-figure salaries for all of those bozos to be there. And that's the other thing that bothers me. We got a new mayor. We got a new governor here in the state of New York. And I can't believe, in lieu of the conditions financially that New York State is in, how he can permit so much fat to be running in the New York State Athletic Commission. Where's Thomas Hauser when you need him? Come on, Tommy. God, he hates that. Come on, Tommy Hauser. Write an article about the commission, man, how corrupt they are and how bad they are. They're worse than they ever were right now. Where's Tommy Hauser when you need him? Somebody drop Tom Hauser an email and say, Billy C. was asking, why aren't you writing about the corruption in New York State now? Why aren't you complaining about how the commission's being run now for the state of boxing in the state of New York? Come on, man. Write to Thomas Hauser. He'll do it. Anyway, Caesar's telling me that, Andy Foster happens to be a former MMA fighter. He looked it. And he says he doesn't play games, he's been good for the combat sports scene in Atlanta. And, well, how good has he been? Caesar's right. And how good has he been? Well, I'll tell you right now. There was a fight on that card, and both Caesar and I couldn't believe it. As a matter of fact, we had a kickoff, and like we've told you a couple times, Cesar Hernandez was, just minding his own business, eating a hot dog and drinking a soda, getting ready to cover the fights, and actually wasn't even eating a hot dog. I think he had filet mignon or something, I don't know. But, and next thing I know, I'm like, okay, you're on. Huh? What? And we both witnessed this first fight of the night. That was the Shim Sham Scamadam. That's right. It was featured two female fighters that were the worst that I've ever seen, even in the amateur level. And they were supposed to be pros. We were all shaking our heads, and so were the fans. The fans were laughing and everything else. I mean, they didn't want to fight. I'm going to write you the exact comment that was put on the official results and report that the Georgia State Athletic Commission wrote, and it's actually written by the commissioner himself, which is, like I said, Andy Foster. He says, Cole wins a unanimous decision on all the cards. However, no skills, none, that's in capital letters, look to be a worked fight. Would not finish opponent with limited skills she possessed. And he's talking about Shanita Cole. He says, commission discovered that they were from the same gym, and the commission is deciding on moving both fighters back to the amateur level and removing the Georgia professional license. And as a result, Shanita Cole got an indefinite suspension, and so did her opponent, Shanuki Walker. Both because they did not possess what they call skills to be on a professional level. And listen, stripping them of their pro license and sending them back to the amateurs, that's a big statement. And this is a guy that is, in this case, think about it. The fighters might not be happy with this, because they might argue the point and say, well, I'm not able to make a living. My livelihood is boxing and everything else. But you know what? Andy Foster's saving them from being hurt, because typically like this, you get a girl like Shanita Cole who gets a win, and she's fighting at a middleweight level. And she was, she kind of looked like, the Michelin Man. All right, she was about 3 feet tall and weighed 161 pounds. So you figure it out. And she's got a win. And, one win, that means she could go fight literally. A fighter that's in the middleweight division, let's say Clarissa Shields decides to become a pro. And, this is a fighter that would fight in her weight class, and it would certainly look good on paper if you never saw this girl fight Cole, if you never saw Shanita Cole, if you never saw her fight and you saw that she was 1-0, and, Clarissa Shields comes out and turns pro, let's just say, and you see the matchup between a gold medalist and a 1-0 fighter, you'd say, it's probably not bad, right? What, are you kidding me? It would be like Clarissa Shields hitting a heavy bag, literally. So, yes, I think Andy Foster is protecting both of those fighters. Shanuki Walker, although I thought she was a good looker. She looked good. But she couldn't fight. She was closing her eyes. It was just pathetic. And so from the fighter's point, he protects them from themselves. And from the sports point, he protects the sport from seeing them again by indefinitely suspending him. So, again, he makes a good move. Another thing I noticed what his procedure is here is that he automatically suspends fighters for various reasons. Now, I believe that in the fight of the night, as far as Caesar and myself are concerned, Marcelia Cornejo fought Mia Henderson, and what a great looking prospect Cornejo is. Not only is she gorgeous to look at her outside the ring, but she really possessed some skills. He suspended her for 7 days. All that means is that she's not able to fight in at least a week. And he takes it a step further. In case there was another sanctioning body, another commission that would let her fight less than 7 days. He's making sure she doesn't for her own safety. But, they gave a suspension for Mia Henderson, 30 days. I think it's because she sustained a cut at the end, because that's the only reason I can think. But all in all, I told you guys what he did with Grady Brewer's fight. He withheld the purse from Giorbis Barthélemy. He also fined him for $1,000, and he put him on indefinite suspension for a minimum of 10 years. That all but loses his career because he's 41 right now. I doubt very much that he would continue his career. Now, here's the thing: they wrote that wrong. It was 5 rounds, and they have it listed as only going 4, but it was a 5-round fight. But anyway, so definitely, I give a lot of credit to Andy Foster of the Georgia Athletic Commission. Speaking of Georgia, a guy that used to live there before they took his house away, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield. This guy's 49 years old. He was born the same year as I was. He's going to turn 50 in October, and he's delusional. We all know that. And I thought boxing was kind of keeping him out of the limelight and just, making him kind of retire on his own. Well, he was interviewed the other day for a English UK television station, and he made it clear that he is not retired, and he feels in his mind that if he got an opportunity to fight one of the Klitschko brothers, not only would he win, but he feels that he could generate more money for the Klitschkos than they can make with anyone else. He thinks that he would be able to make $20 million on the fight against Klitschko. I think he's nuts. Yes, he's a name, but I got to tell you, even the European fans who are a lot more receptive to retreads than we are here in the States, at least me, even with them, I can't see an interest in Evander Holyfield fighting a Klitschko. I can't see it, man. I just don't see it at all. He says, age ain't nothing but a number. This is Holyfield talking to Sky Sports. He says, age ain't nothing but a number. They, meaning the Klitschkos, have got an opportunity to probably make the biggest payday of their lives fighting Evander Holyfield. Now, he's even talking about himself in the third person. He says, they are telling everyone that they respect me and that they don't want to beat me up. But I fought George Foreman. I fought Larry Holmes. I said the same thing. I said that I wouldn't get any credibility from beating somebody older. They said, but we are going to get you $20 million. What do you think? I said, make sure the guy wants to fight me because I don't want it to look like I fought the older guy, but that he fought me. With the Klitschkos, they aren't choosing to fight me. I've said I'll fight them. All they got to do is realize that both of us will make some money. Then we'll see who the winner is. Problem is, there's no way he could beat a Klitschko. And we're all losers in that. The Klitschkos know it. They'll get criticized. Vitaly Klitschko's already getting criticized for fighting his opponent, his next opponent that he's fighting. I mean, nobody's heard of him, and yes, he's got a undefeated record and all that stuff. But come on, man. Manuel Char. Come on. Sounds like a a barbecue pit place or something. But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's something wrong with him, obviously. He's a guy that shouldn't be allowed to fight. He shouldn't even be. They shouldn't even be interviewing him to get his hopes up. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, speaking about crazy, how about a rugby star? Now this guy is he plays rugby for a team called the All Blacks. Now he's leaving that team. He's going to be playing in a different world league in rugby. But according to rugby star Sonny Bill Williams, he's got a fight set up, a professional fight in November against now he was a world champion in a couple of sanctioning bodies, Francis Botha. He was more known as a long-time contender, but a former champion, long-time contender, Botha. And Sonny Bill Williams is going to fight him in November. Botha's 43 years old. He's fought everybody in the heavyweight division in the last 20-something years. Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, etc., etc., etc. And, oh, by the way, Vladimir Klitschko. He's got 60 fights under his belt. Williams, who's only 27 years old, has already fought professionally already since 2009. He's got 3 fights. In 3 years, he's got 5 fights, winning them all under his belt. And, Francis Botha said, hey, listen, I'll tell you what, I'll fight this guy during a halftime of a rugby match, and I'll do it with my hand tied behind my back. So, that's how confident Francis is. So, Francois, I should say. Francois. Francois is 43. Doesn't he seem older than that? He's been around forever. When did he start fighting? He looked like he was in his 40s when he fought Tyson. Remember Brian Nielsen? Same thing. These guys just don't age well. But Evander Holyfield and Francois Botha, come on, man. Come on. Oh, well, can't talk negatively about guys not knowing when to say when and not mention James Toney. James Toney, he's 43 as well. He's trying to mouth his way. He's trying to David Hay his way into a fight with the guy we're going to have on the show tomorrow, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's 6'9". James Toney is calling him a big stiff, and he's got no chin. It's a sad state when guys like, James Lights Out Toney, who's been a world title holder in not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 different weight classes. In my opinion, it's very sad to see guys like him trying to talk his way into a fight. He says, I love England. It would be exciting to fight there. He says, I was scheduled to fight there 20 years ago, but the fight was canceled after I got into England. He says, I still didn't get to sightsee or do anything I wanted to do, like go see Big Ben. He says, I've heard of Tyson Fury before, but I never cared to see him fight. He says, then my boxing agent urged me to take a look at him, and I think he's perfect for me. Fury's getting a big build-up in the States. He's 6'9", and he's supposed to be scary. And James Toney says, what a joke. He looks like a big stiff with no chin. I will fight him in his hometown, and he can have his sisters as the judges and his daddy as the referee. It don't matter. His corner will have to pick him up off the canvas when I'm done with him. I don't think Fury has the guts to fight me. Now, that's classic. Get him mad and maybe he'll fight me stuff. We all know that James Toney doesn't, yes, he possesses a chin. Yes, he possesses some solid defense, very good defense. He's a counterpuncher, but he's fat. And he's not going to knock out Tyson Fury. He's not even going to be able to reach Tyson Fury. He's not. He's not going to be able to reach him. You know, listen, James Stoney says the last time I tried to go to Europe, I had an injury, and I wasn't able to, give Dennis Ledebev any problems at cruiserweight. This was 9 months ago. He says, but I'm ready to prove to everyone I can still mix it up. That was an injury, and I'm 100% now. You know, the truth of the matter is they're talking about some other decent opponents for Tyson Fury, and none of them have been named yet. I know that he wants to fight in November. We'll be talking to him tomorrow. But some of the names that they're talking about is Ruslan Shagayev, which isn't a bad fight for Tyson Fury. Talk about testing his chin out. It would have to be in Germany or someplace where they have that hepatitis vaccination, which you get. Sergey Lukaevich, which, you know, he just got beaten by Brian Jennings. How about Brian Jennings against Tyson Fury? That'd be a nice one, huh? Two young fighters going at it. And Jean-Marc Mormac, who did nothing against Klitschko. Those are the three leading candidates, I guess, according to Hennessy Sports. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Another thing that we're going to have to wait and see is today, Carl Froch, I guess, is going to officially announce who he's going to be fighting, if he hasn't already, in England. I know it's going to be announced sometime today. Now, rumor has it it's Pollard from Canada, Nicholson Pollard, whose half-brother is Jean Pascal. Now, before anybody jumps all over Carl Froch for taking this fight, because this is clearly a step below Carl Froch's normal level of opposition, he deserves a layup, doesn't he? I mean, and no disrespect to Pollard, but, you know, this is definitely a layup fight for Carl Froch. The only thing which is strange about this fight is that Pollard, I believe, fights at the light heavyweight division, and Carl Froch, of course, is in the super middleweight. So unless Carl Froch is going to be fighting a little more comfortable, you know, bigger, or they're going to make Nicholson go down in weight, that I don't know yet. But we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Murphy's in the chat room, and he says that he's going to be doing some college football. Oh, he's in the radio business too now, I guess. Murphy too, huh? He says, I got a co-host the show, and do another sports show. I see, an all-sports show, and he's brushing up on NFL and college football. Because Cesar Hernandez is he also does a show, and you know, he's one of the shows. His show that he does is one of the shows that are going to be being added to the BillyCBoxing.com network. So we're looking forward to that, and we're going to be definitely getting him on board real soon. We're working that out right now, and Dave Murphy's talking about other sports. He said we had a person on Friday to talk about the Buffalo Bills, and also have Alyssa Kramer, the daughter of Packer great Jerry Kramer, who is trying to get his dad into Canton, Ohio. Didn't Jerry Kramer also play for the Minnesota Vikings? Am I confusing him with somebody else? But yeah, man, football is strong for me too. I'm pretty good with my football knowledge. Well, there's another one. Then there's another Kramer that played for the Vikings. I'm positive about it. I didn't. That name didn't sound familiar, so maybe I'll figure it out right now. Because guess what? It's a good time. Because I got to take a break. I'll be right back.
Time for another major in golf. This time it's across the pond for the Open Championship. What's at stake? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
Want to put some wild into your weekend? Come to the all-new Mesquite Pro Rodeo. Corral seats start at just $12, and kids are always half price. Get your tickets at Kroger and save $5. This weekend, meet the rodeo legends. Tractor Supply sponsors the Neil Gay Cowboy Reunion. The city ends and the Wild West begins at cool air-conditioned Mesquite Arena, I-635 and Exit 4, 7:30 Friday and Saturday. Mesquite is the official rodeo capital of Texas.
Filled with tricky pot bunkers that you have to climb into, no less, this year's Open at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's in England is certain to be tough, even for the most seasoned professional golfer. Tiger Woods, who hasn't won a major in 4 years, is looking to pick up his 15th career title. The last American to win at Royal Lytham was David Duval in 2001. Should Woods win, it would be his 4th Open, the last back in 2006. The Americans and the Europeans and everybody else in between know that this is no walk in the park, and with rain expected, they'll need more than umbrellas and a good caddy to navigate this 7,086-yard course that rewards great ball striking and punishes the rest. Whoever wins the Claret Jug will no doubt be playing some target golf at this major. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway. Up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette. He's disappointed at coming at you on the count of 1, 2.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. And you're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And if you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. That's right. Check it out. But also, check it out, the Ringside. That's right. If you're looking for some boxing equipment, if you're a fighter or a trainer, or even one of those rah-rah guys, you know, they don't sell pom-poms like Gary Russell Jr. wants us to do, but Ringside is the place to go. Check it out, www.ringside.com. Tell them Billy C sent you. Demand a Billy C discount. I'm going to be getting you a code for that in the near future, but don't wait for that. Go place your order today, www.ringside.com. And by the way, check out their new line. It's called the Heritage line, and it's a full line of gloves and protective gear and some mitts, all that stuff. So check it out, www.ringside.com. Speaking about checking out, we want you to come up to Whitehall, New York. Now listen, there's nothing in Whitehall. It's the birthplace of the United States Navy, but there's nothing in the town, all right? But we want you to come up. I want you to come up. Why? Because we've got a great show going on at the Whitehall Athletic Club, August 24th, a week from Friday. It's Friday. It's this Friday coming up. And we want you to be there. So get yourself some tickets. They're real cheap. They range from $20 up to $50 for the best seat in the house. And there's some room. There's some more seats available. It's a world championship fight. Chevelle Halbach, who is just, if you check out this month's August issue of Ring Magazine, they break down all the women fighters and who the top 3 in each division are. Guess who is #1 in the world in the junior welterweight division? Guess who? Go ahead, take a guess. You got it. Chevelle Halbach, #1. #2 is Holly Holm. So, you know, big fight for both Chevelle Halbach and Victoria Cisneros this Friday night at the Whitehall Athletic Club. Get tickets now. I'd reserve yourself some ringside seats for $50. Can't beat it. Call 518-832-3663. That's 518-832-3663, or visit the website www.whitehallathleticclub.com. But anyway, Murphy's saying, I'm sorry, we're talking about football in the chat room. I'm excited about the show. And, hey, man, you know, we do our all sports show every Saturday. You know, we do Talking New York Sports, and it's not just about New York sports either. We do talk about other stuff, but I hear you. There's some fights coming up this weekend. First and foremost, today, Isn't there a fight scheduled today? Is he supposed to fight? Isn't Antonio DeMarco fighting today? Is it today? Did they schedule that for the 20th? I got to double check that. But I know aside from Chevelle Halbach fighting on the 24th, we got Randy Caballero in the bantamweight division, and he's going to be fighting on Friday. We also have he's fighting on Friday the 24th. Randy Caballero. We also have some other fights like Jan Zavik. He's taking on. He's going to be taking on the Lion Alajanov on Saturday. We also have on the slate scheduled for the 24th, which is Friday. I keep telling you, Randy Caballero is fighting Miguel Manuel Roman. On Saturday, Roberto Ortiz against Florencio Castellano, and Alan Sanchez against Manuel Lavea is going to be on August 25th. So another slow one. I think the DeMarco fight was rescheduled. I don't recall it being set for today. This was a date that I had it was put on our schedule a while ago. So, he's fighting 9/8, September 8th, right? John Molina. Thank you, Murph and Caesar, who's both got all the data at their fingertips. Speaking of fights returning, how about Boxeo Telemundo, September 14th in Tampa style. Main event at the a la carte is going to be Glenn the Bomber Donaire. Yes, he's the brother of the other Donaire. 19 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw, with 10 of his wins come by knockout. He's a flyweight, and he's taking on Omar Soto, who's 22-9 with 15 of his wins come by knockout. That's going to be for the vacant NABO flyweight title. Ought to be a decent one. Ought to be a decent fight, that's for sure. I think it's matched well. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Also, they confirmed the fight between Bantamweight Super Champ, and don't you love that, the WBA's Super Champ, which means they stripped him of the regular old champion title and they elevated him up, and they figure they'll get double, triple because of the interim, all for the same weight class sanctioning fees. But WBA Super Bantamweight champion, which is not confused with Super Bantamweight. It's Bantam Super Champion. Emilio Marino confirmed on Friday that he's going to be taking on Abner Mares, October 13th. What a great fight this is going to be. We were just saying how quiet Golden Boy was. Maybe they were being extra quiet to keep their mouth shut about this one that's going to be on Showtime. What a great one this is going to be if it comes off. I hope that it becomes official. I love this fight. What about that, man? What about a fight between Marino and Abner Mares? Great one there, that's for sure. How about Alfredo Angulo? He's back. That's right. Alfredo Angulo is ready to start fighting again in the U.S. of A. He has not been allowed to fight in the United States for 2 years. I don't know if you realize that the last fight that wasn't in the U.S. was in Mexico, and he, I guess he had some visa problems, and he basically got deported, got kicked out of the U.S. Well, now he's ready to be allowed back in. But he's been off. Us, Italians sometimes when they say when you go to the can, when you go to, no, not that can, when you go to jail. He's off to college. He went off to college. Well, Angulo apparently has been taking an 8-month course at the El Centro Immigration Detention Facility because that's where he's been for the last 8 months and was just released. So we'll see what happens with him. He's, if you recall, he's only got 20 wins. 20 wins, 2 losses, 17 come by knockout. I think it's too late for him. You think his time has come and gone? I don't know. He's very one-dimensional and looked very ordinary in his last couple of fights. So August 25th, this weekend, we got unbeaten super lightweight Roberto Massa Ortiz, 25-0 with a draw. 21 of his wins come by knockout. Is going to be taking on Florencio Chambo Castellano. I just was mentioning that one. And he's 16-6. That's going to be for the WBC Silver Super Lightweight. Super Lightweight, right? So, that's basically junior welterweight. And silver basically means interim belt. So, don't get caught up with that BS from the WBC. I just, and the co-main event is Richard Gutierrez against Gilberto Ramirez. That's a good one. It's not a bad fight, but we'll see. Richard Gutierrez is a good. He's a good fighter. A good test for a young fighter like Ramirez, who's undefeated at 22-0 with 19 knockouts. So we'll see what happens in that one. I'm sure. Excuse me. I'm sure that's going to be on our challenge, our Billy C challenge, which is back in business. Although we do have some errors that we're working on with the program itself. We had to manually submit them last week, and we manually rose to the top. There's only two of us that are standing at 100% right now, and that's me and my man Ryan. Everyone else is not. Let's just say they're not at 100%. But Murphy, I enjoy telling Murphy that he's way down to 80%, which isn't bad. It's only 1 week. 80%. He's only got one loss, so yeah. I like to kid with Murph because, it's the way I am. Tomaz Adamek and Travis Walker, what do you think of that fight? That's all that matters, Murph. 100% to 80%. We're talking percentages here. We're talking percentages. Right away, he's an excuse maker. He's an excuse maker. We're talking percentages. I got 100%, he's got 80. Yes, it was only one fight, but we weren't talking about that. Come on, man. Stop making excuses. Stop trying to make it look better. It was 4 out of 5. Because you say that, 4 out of 5. Doesn't that sound a lot better than 80%? It's only 80%. Could have been 8 out of 10. We're only kidding. And number one, 80% happens to be better than anybody will get realistically. If people were able to win against the bookies 80% of the time, you wouldn't have any bookies in business. So. Wealth TV is going to be broadcasting that Tomaz Adamek and Travis Walker fight September 8th. Bye-Bye Jennings is on that card, and I like him. I like that kid. I'd like to see him fight a guy like Tyson Fury. But how about USS Cunningham? This is a guy that is making his heavyweight debut, I guess. He's taking on Jason the Sensation Gavin, which I think is a very poor fight for Jason. But I don't think that Cunningham can handle the heavyweight division. I don't know if he may be able to handle Jason, steal a fight from Jason Gavin, but he's not going to handle the heavyweight division. But how about Cunningham against Tyson Fury? You think you could see that one? Because remember, Cunningham's got pretty good following in Europe. He's got a decent following in Europe. So why not? Why not? But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. Big fight coming up also on the same day. We got a lot of good stuff. We'll be talking about it on our post-fight show. But Devon Alexander is taking on the power puncher, the guy that puts you to sleep, Randall Bailey. Now, I know some of these guys were listening to me and my predictions, we were trying to get our predictions on, who was going to win and all this stuff. And we got, I told people, I said, Randall Bailey is going to win that title. He's going to win. And he ends up winning. Now, as far as this fight goes, Devon Alexander against Randall Bailey, I don't know, man. I think that if you stay away from Randall Bailey, you beat him easily. It's, when you tire out and try to get on there, we'll try to get on there to get him tired. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Devon Alexander's going to stay away from him, and the bottom line is he'll stay away and outbox Randall Bailey. Randall Bailey's very one-dimensional. The other fight that's on there is another good one. Jose Asagun against Lucas Matisse. That's going to be they're going to be fighting for some vacant belt as well. So a couple of good ones on Showtime once again. Showtime once again is going to be holding that one. So I like it. I like that card, and I'm excited about that one for sure. And I guess who else is on that card? Isn't there another fighter? Let's see. Randall Bailey, Asagun. I thought that there was another fight on there, but we'll have to wait and see. I thought there was a triple header, but maybe not. Danny O'Connor. We were talking about him last week. He's the Olympic alternate several years ago, 2008. He's a pro now. He's got a record of 18-1 with 6 knockouts. He's working now with Ronnie Shields, who's helped him out a lot. And, Ronnie Shields, helped him come back. He just made his comeback, so to speak, or his debut at Ronnie Shields last weekend. He fought Eddie Soto in the stadium that they had a soccer game at Foxwoods. Foxborough Stadium, not Foxwoods. But we'll have to wait and see. Now, his next fight is going to be at Foxwoods on September 29th. He's going to be fighting, I don't know who. They don't have his opponent yet, but September 29th he'll be on the undercard. We'll see how good Ronnie Shields does for him there. So, anyway. I'm going to go through our boxing schedule roundup real quick. It's basically going to take us from this is September, so we don't want. Oh, Stiglitz and Abraham are the 25th too, so we got to remember that one. Don't forget about Abraham and Stiglitz. That's going to be a good fight. But August 31st, let's start off with that. August 31st, Jose the Sniper Pedraza is going to be fighting in Puerto Rico. We'll see what happens. The main event is Thomas Delorme against Ivan Hernandez. So that ought to be a decent fight. That's taking place August 31st. On September 1st, Daniel Geale and Felix Sturm in a unification bout. That's a good one. September 1st on HBO, we have a decent fight. It's at an okay place. I'm surprised that HBO is even going to the Turning Stone. Not that I have anything against it, but it's just in the middle of nowhere. Gregor Proska, who's a middleweight, 28-1, he's going to be taking on Gennady Golovkin, who's 23-0 as the main event. That's a nice one, September 1st. Also September 1st, IBF mandatory challenger Ricardo Munoz is going to be taking on Marudi Mathani. That one ought to be an interesting fight. And also, I already told you about the Sturm fight. September 7th, you got, what's his name? Diaz. Kenneth Diaz is taking on Yoelvis Gamboa, the younger brother of, you got it, Yoelvis Gamboa. That's a good matchup on paper. Super bantamweight Alexander Bakatin is 29-0. He's going to be taking on Rolly Agoska, who's 19-2 out of the Philippines. That's going to be on September 7th. Also September 7th, this was a fight we talked about a couple of weeks ago. None of us had even heard of that this fight was taking place, but it still is. Francisco Pineda against the White Buffalo Francois Botha. And he already was scheduled for November, so he's fighting. He's busy, man. Busy guy, that Francois Botha. That's September 7th. September 8th, Vitaly Klitschko in what many believe is his farewell tour against Manuel Char. That will be on HBO. So September 8th. Check that one out. Also, September 8th, we got, what's else? We got the Andre Ward against Chad Dawson fight. We all know about that one. We got Randall Bailey against Devon Alexander. We know about that one. We got Tomas Adamak against Travis Walker. We were just talking about that one. We got, how about this one? Tony Bello against Edison Miranda, September 8th. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. That's a good test for Tony Bello. September 14th, a couple of undefeated fighters. Billy Joe Saunders making a defense of his Commonwealth middleweight title against Gerard Fletcher. That's going to be at the Wembley Arena. Also, September 21st, we're going to see a fight with in Belgium. Actually, I believe it's the first world title fight ever in Belgium. We have the main event is Sayad Oyulai, who's actually scheduled to be on this show next week, I think. And he's going to be taking on Carlo Tabagua for the vacant IBF Intercontinental fight. And also Sugar Jackson Onsai Bonsu is going to be taking on Jimmy Colas as the co-main event. That's September 21st. I jumped the gun here because September 14th we got British and Common super middleweight champ Georgie Groves is going to be the main event against Francisco Sierra. That's a good one. Let's jump back to the 15th. We know that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Sergio Martinez are going to be getting it on in Vegas. The other two fights on that card, Guillermo Rigondeaux against Robert Marroquin and Roman Rocky Martinez against Miguel Beltran Jr. That ought to be a decent matchup as well. Down the street, Saul Alvarez against Josito Lopez. Co-main event, Johnny Gonzalez against Daniel Ponce de Leon. I love that. And Marcos Maidana against Jesus Soto Carres. What a card that is. And that's going to be on Showtime. September 15th, you got Troy Ross against Joan Pablo Hernandez. I'm looking forward to that one for sure. Also, they announced that Guillermo Jones and Dennis Lebedev may be fighting around that time as well. How about September 21st when Gabriel Campilio, 21-4, he's taking on Sergey Kovalev. These guys are killing me with the names. Why am I doing this now so early in the morning? That's taking place September 21st. We already said that Oyulai is fighting. I got duplicates here. September 22nd, Ricky Burns taking on Kevin Mitchell. Wow, good fight there. On September 22nd, we also have Cecilia Brækhus against Anne-Sophie Matisse. That's going to be a real good one in the female ranks. We'll see what happens there. Palacios on September 22nd in Poland says that it's going to be a massacre when he steps in to get his rematch with Krzysztof Lazarek. September 22nd, still, we got stuff Kiko Martinez against Carl Frampton. September 29th, unbeaten middleweights, super middleweights, face each other. Jason Escalera is going to be taking on Edwin Rodriguez is going to be taking on Jason Escalera. You got Zolt Erdai taking on Isaac Chalimba, and Luis Orlando Davalli taking on Vic Darchinyan. What a great triple header that is on HBO. September 29th, we got the rescheduled garbage fight between Hasim Rahman and Alexander Povetkin. October 6th, we got a good fight between Lucas Konesi is going to be taking on Zauerbach Bang Sagirov, and that's going to be taking place in the Ukraine. October 12th, we got Dangerous Doran Spiney is taking on Lightning Rod Salika in Atlantic City. October 13th, David Price and Audley Harrison are getting it on. That ought to be a good one. We got October 13th in a huge fight, Bam Bam Rios against Mike Alvarado and Nonito Donaire against Toshiaki Nikashoka in a really good doubleheader that I'm looking forward to. We also have Danny Garcia is going to be taking on Eric Morales in their second fight, October 20th. We also got word that Kell Brook is going to be taking on Hector Salvadea. That also is on October 20th in a title elimination fight. November 3rd, Lucien Bute against Denis Grachov. And that wraps up our boxing schedule roundup for this week all the way through November, the first week in November. A lot of decent stuff coming our way in October. This is going to be a slow month, August. We have a couple of good fights this weekend, a couple of good ones next weekend. October steps it up a little bit. Then we get kind of okay at the beginning of November, but then the sport of boxing goes into that dormant state. Mid-November through December. Now we're going to see some fights, and I'm sure there's going to be some good ones announced. But typically, let's be real. What happens during that time is not much. Not much happens during that time in the sport of boxing because of the holidays. So don't be counting on too much going on then. So anyway, one last thing I want to add. It does bother me about commissions and the varying degree in which commissions operate. And, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again and again and again and again. A commission does not have to treat people in a disrespectful way. A commission does not have to over-commission. A commission should be in place to make sure that the boxers and the promoters and the managers and everybody involved in a contest, in a professional boxing contest, follows the rules that are defined by that commission, follows the safety rules that are defined by that commission. And don't get me wrong, I don't criticize the commission for having specific rules. In New York's case, I'm being critical of them because I don't think that the majority of the people that are on that staff are worth the six-figure salaries that the state of New York pays them. I don't think that they're boxing knowledgeable people at all. I also think that they're bullies, and they act like they want to shut shows down, and they threaten and just add extra grief and pressure onto promoters, and I don't think it's right. And for the most case, they're very prejudiced towards any fighter that does not come from New York and fight in New York. They're very prejudiced against that. And I don't think there's any room for them. And I think something has to be done with the current commission in place. And I think that in our case, our governor, Pataki, wrong, Cuomo, Pataki. I wish he was still a governor. It was actually pretty good when George Pataki was the governor of New York. But Cuomo, he's a guy that expects people to open doors for him and everything else. I'm shocked that a guy like Andrew Cuomo, who's trying to shave money from the deficit that the state of New York is in, hasn't looked carefully at the draining process that's going on in the state of New York's athletic commission and the guys that are making the money and what they actually do for it. And by the way, they're still state workers, which means they don't want to do anything until 9 in the morning and 5 at night. That's it, 9 to 5, baby. So I just think it's unfortunate that you have commissions that are actually trying to push away the sport of boxing. And then you have, on the other side of the coin, you have commissions that work very diligently and extremely hard to, make boxing a priority for their state, to make the fighters be able to make a livelihood in a realistic way and still continue with the safety. So it's my hang-up, man. I just think that, commissions should be in place to protect and promote the sport of boxing in all avenues, from the fighter to the promoters and ultimately the fans. So, hey, don't forget about the Billy C forums. They're back alive and well. So make sure you go post up a new thread or respond to some of the ones that are up there. www.BillyCBoxing.com. That's number one. Number two, don't forget about the shows, the other shows we got on the network. So check that out. It's under radio shows. The links, we support all of our links 100%. So please visit some of those, and we'll love that. And ultimately, don't forget about my book, man. If you're interested in getting an early copy, the sale ends. I think it might end Friday, or maybe it's next week. Maybe it's next week. I mean, next month, the end of September. I think it goes till October 1st. So if you want to get the discounted price, now's the time to do that. So make sure you check it out, www.BillyCBoxing.com, under the book club section.
Wake up. It's time for
It's too early for a trivia question.
Now, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question is being brought to us by Gleason's Gym in Brooklyn, New York. Give them a call today, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Tell them Billy C sent you. And if you haven't signed up for the Boxing Fantasy Camp, there's still time. It starts next week. Actually, it starts, next week. It starts next week. Oh, wait a minute. I think it starts this week. It's the 23rd, right? It starts on Wednesday. It's the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. That's right. It starts Wednesday, so you still might have some time to get in there, so check that out. Or any of the other things that are going on at Gleason's, and there's always a lot of stuff going on at Gleason's. Check them out, 718-797-2872. Tell them Billy C sent you. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia question is a good one. Who was the first former junior welterweight world champion to referee a junior welterweight world championship fight? Who was the first former junior welterweight world champion to referee a junior welterweight world championship fight? On the line, if you get that one right, is the Burt Gilroy story. Gilroy was here. This book was written by his family members, and it's a decent read. I enjoyed it. I had it. It's courtesy of prizefightingbooks.com. This is a brand new copy, of course, and I think it would be a great addition to your collection. And it's a good, interesting story about a guy you probably never heard of. Burt Gilroy was a quality fighter. According to the book, a lot of people avoided giving him a world title shot. And this guy also took a lot of fights outside of his own weight class just to stay busy, and he was very busy. So check it out. That's what's on the line. It's yours if you're the first one that can answer this right. And remember, if you're watching a replay of this show or you stumble across it and you think somebody already got it, always answer the trivia questions because you just never know if they're floating around. And the way you do it is the first one to answer it correctly to email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com, wins. One more time, who was the first former junior welterweight world champion to referee a junior welterweight world championship fight? Who's the first former world junior welterweight champ to referee a junior welterweight world championship fight? If you know that answer, email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, that's TalkinBoxing.com. Good luck to everybody on that one.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble, and that is Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. And don't forget, tell them Billy C sent you, and that I'm going to pick up your consultation fee. 845-221-4099. On this day, August 20th, And first and foremost, I'd like to wish my sister, Susie Q. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, sis. On this day, August 20th in 1989, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker wins a 12-round decision over Jose Luis Ramirez to retain his IBF and win the vacant WBC World Lightweight titles on this day, August 20th, 1989, in Norfolk, Virginia. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. Tyson Fury is going to join us among some other things going on. We'll have a busy, busy day, but I got one more thing to say. You know what it is? Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. Oh, yeah, there's only one channel. It's called the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call. For all the information, look at their website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.